once again, everyone, this DC is out here poisoning their comic books once again. It seems that they just can't stop. Their sales are literally in the toilet. Nobody's buying their comics anymore. People are walking away in droves. And all DC seems determined to do is keep pushing their woke, disturbed ideology, whether you like it or not. Now, ever since the big burning flame that was, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy getting together, they made a big thing out of that. Nobody talks about it anymore because, like with everything else based entirely on just sexual orientation and no body to it whatsoever, it's fizzled out and nobody cares anymore. When is the last time you heard somebody actually mention that? Yes, we have the animated series with them, but by season 2, people are pretty much sick and tired of that entire thing whatsoever. People just don't like it anymore because there's nothing interesting about them. I watched season 1 of the Harley Quinn animated show. I thought it was actually really good. You saw Harley Quinn trying to discover who she was and building what she was doing. Okay. By the time she ended up with Poison Ivy, I was like, okay, fine. It progressed and got there to the point, all right. By the time the second season rolled around, nobody cared because all it became about was just the eat, kill, bang, toe. That was it. Nobody cared about that because in comics, T. Franklin wrote that Eat, Kill, Bang, Toe, and it was one of the worst runs in comics ever. You decided to make Vixen into a lesbian, gave her a girlfriend who's just a self-insert for T. Franklin because why? Her girlfriend is black and disabled and has some kind of sex work or something like that, which is exactly what T. Franklin is. Sorry. You understand me? And they had some of the worst dialogue in that comic ever where Vixen and her girlfriend was sounding like a bunch of dirty old men trying to pick up women. I want to get a piece of that sweet ass. And you're like, what kind of sickness is that? But that's what they were doing. And now, once again, good old T. Franklin decides to make it even worse. And then, and to top it off, she's also bragging online about making it worse. Ay. Let's get into this article here because Ethan Van Schiver seems to have had enough of this nonsense. Ethan Van Schiver roasts writer T. Franklin and DC for three-way involving Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Vixen in recent issue of Legion of Bats. Yeah, this is what I'm bounding it to conversation, but this is what it's reached to now. The question, who is this for, is asked a lot around here, but it's also asked frequently in the Twitter posts of the artist and former DC employee Ethan Van Schiver. I asked that question, who is this thing for? Because comics are not for comic fans anymore. They're not to bring in new comic fans anymore. They're just avenues for these people to use this thing as some kind of pulpit to preach their nonsense and push their agendas. That's it. We'll continue on. He knows his old workplace has seen better days, especially when he was there. And nowadays, there is no shortage of cringe-inducing incidents in the pages of recent releases. So very true. And in the last 2 months, Van Schiver found one more scene so appalling he had to share it with his followers. In the second case of weirdness, to hit a Batman adjacent book since the Joker got pregnant. I did a video on that and vomited a mini-me clone of himself. Poison Ivy had a torrid fling with girlfriend Harley Quinn that ropes in Vixen. This occurs in a daydream at the beginning of Harley Quinn, the animated series. Legion of Bats number 5, a satirical spin-off of the adult HBO Max cartoon. Yeah, and you wonder why nobody cares about that cartoon anymore. But the humor is lost with most readers as well as the comic artists. This is what he had to say. DC Comics must be terrified of T. Franklin, an obese, black, disabled, lesbian sex worker. And this is not him being mean. This is exactly what T. Franklin identifies herself as. When you check out her stuff, this is what you identify as. I can't see it because she's blocked herself and everybody else, but, you know. But this is what, when you check T. Franklin stuff, this is what you see. She always lets you know that she's an obese, black, disabled, lesbian, former sex worker. That's what she is. A quinfector of victimhood, and she plays that victimhood card very well from what I've come to understand. Imagine their submissive urination as she asks to be paid for a script featuring Ivy, Harley, and Vixen in a lesbian three-way singing about the P word. Gross and sad. Let me show you what it is. This has really and truly come to in these times, and this is what they're doing here, right? She there, and they're gonna treat them to the kissing, dragging up, down. Understand me? And then Poison Ivy is there. How did I get so lucky? I mean, me, I'll have room for one more. Come here, you naughty kitty. This is what you're putting out there. This is what you're really putting out there, and you're acting like this is somehow supposed to be something, really enjoyable to watch, something like that. What is this? This is what you're putting out there. Who is this for? I don't know, but this is what you figure people are going to love and enjoy. People are messed up in the head, bro. Right. He went to many when they go on here. Many will wonder who can save DC after stuff like this makes it to print, which, as we've noted again and again, happens all the time. Van Schiver, however, doesn't see that happening, as he maintains no one cares about the comics or DC, not even Warner Discovery. David Zaslav, he doesn't care about the comics. Nobody does, at least of all DC, all DC itself. Zaslav is asleep at the wheel. Yeah, because they did own business. They had a meeting not too long, like last week or week before, where they were talking about stuff at Warner, and it was basically decided that, DC Comics just isn't important. They just don't care. They're just putting on whatever crap on their own business. That's it. That's what they're doing. Some, as they often do, view the latest depiction of Harley and Ivy with a +1 as no big deal, and tried to call Van Schiver on being too easily triggered by a comic, as these defenders of DC modern content also do quite a bit. But I give you remember the Cyberfrog success despite his works detractors, right here. That's fire. Somebody put up there. Imagine getting this triggered from one single comic book. Yeah, imagine. Yeah, because his Cyberfrog took over 1 million raised. Independent comic creator doing his own thing, raised over 1 million. And in his Cyberfrog comic, you're not finding any other three-way madness. No. Outside the art, which is panned by many, Van Schiver was grilled about what makes the comic so inappropriate. He responded that comics don't need foul language or explicit sexuality to be good, and elaborated the medium should. Okay, this was somebody says this Ian Fish. I mean, why not? Do you want the art form to stay frozen forever as it was when you were a kid? I can understand why a corporate suit would want that, but why would a lover of the art form? If you had to ask that question, it makes you wonder. He continues on, yes, I want superhero comics to remain mostly wholesome, juvenile literature that non-perverted adults can enjoy as well. Exactly. Why must you? Because comics are the biggest visual medium when it comes to in book form when it comes to things like that. Well, at least they were. They get in the behind spank now by manga and all this stuff. But the point is to produce content that people can enjoy, stories and characters that they can get attached to and actually like. Not to push some perverted, vulgar behavior and then act like, this is somehow good. What in that book is there to really talk about that you have to go? Because T. Franklin went online and bragged that, okay, here's the first three-way kiss by women in DC Comics. That's what you're bragging about, not about the content of your book, the villains, the stories, the what's going to happen, how does that progress? No, all you are writing is gay fan fiction and acting like, this is somehow comics. And you have these people who just jump on board to defend anything, it doesn't matter what. They just defend everything without understanding anything at all. And when they do these things and they allow these people to keep writing and producing this garbage, you are going to wonder now, later along the road, why it has gotten so bad and there's no fixing it anymore. It might literally be beyond fix it at this point, maybe, but this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. Maybe that means comic books won't evolve, but we know what their evolutionary backslide has done to the sales of mainstream publishers. You probably did not pick up the Harley Quinn issue in question, or probably of Like Mine with Ethan Van Schiver. Yeah, so I don't think anybody bought it. I haven't seen anybody talk about it, I haven't seen anybody care about it. I sure as hell don't care about it, but this is what you're doing. You're basically putting out a book here about the first and bragging about the first three-way kiss between two women, between three women, and then acting like this is somehow supposed to be something for that. What's the story here other than just pushing your perverted vices on everyone? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, so they hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, ring the notification bell and notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.